Hello, everyone. My name is Sandhya Avasthi, and I'm assistant professor in ABES Engineering College, Ghaziabad. So today I'm going to discuss another topic from software testing part of software engineering subject. The topic to be covered are types of software testing, testing life cycle, software testing life cycle, phases. So what are various types of software testing? So mainly software testing is divided into two types. The first type is manual testing. Second type is automated testing. So in manual testing, the test cases are written down by testing team, and that test cases is checked manually by the testing team one by one, and test document is prepared, which test document becomes the input to further modification of the software. Automated testing is we write a certain code to basically take input automatically. So for that, different softwares are there. Some tools are used to check various input cases. So manual test casing, it means that testing software manually done without using any automated tool or any already written script. Tester takes the role of an end user and tests the software to identify any unexpected behavior or bug. Right? So manually is taken. We are not using any software. We are not using any already written code, and that is taking input automatically. So testing team, it's the responsibility of testing team to write the test cases and then use the test cases to generate the output and check for all kind of possible errors. So different stages for manual testing are unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and user acceptance testing. Tester uses test plan, which is when they will do what type of testing. So it's like a plan that is first made, and they move ahead with that plan. So say they make a plan that they will test first the module 1, then module 2, then module 3. So that becomes a plan, and accordingly they plan that they will check each module with around some specific number of test cases. Also, what sort of scenarios that will be considered to create test cases, and then finally testing the system for those test cases. So all these things are done by software testing team. It is their responsibility of software testing team to test the software and ensure the completeness of the testing. Manual testing also include exploratory testing, as tester explore the software to identify errors in it. So sometimes input, they have checked all kind of errors through input test cases. Even in that case, they also go for exploratory testing to just explore. Maybe something is left out that has not been tested by the test cases. Automated testing, it is also known as test automation. It is when tester write down scripts. A script is like a small program where whenever the team runs a script, that script executes and it takes automatically various input that has been included in that program, and it automatically checks for each and every input and observes the output and records it in a file. Right? So it uses another software to test the product. This process involves the automation of a manual process. So manually, a person is checking each and every input and documenting it. So that is a very rigorous task, right? So, but whenever that is done through script, so it is possible that a team just start execution and just leave it like this, and for each input, the output is recorded and stored in a file. So that can be done without human involvement. The only the team that has to do is to start the script. So automated testing is used to rerun the test case scenario that were performed manually, quickly, and repeatedly. So because it is done automatically, so you may repeat it at several times to check for all kind of errors. Apart from regression testing, automated testing is also used to test the application from a load, performance, or stress point of view. It increases the test coverage, improves accuracy, and saves time and money in comparison to manual testing. Because manual testing, the time consumed is really high. So there is limitation when, say, you have a deadline to meet and you have to deliver the product within a specific time. But if it is done automatically, so you can do a lot in less amount of time. So you might cover, the coverage is high. That means you can take more and more input cases, right? Which is a limitation when you do it manually. Software testing life cycle. So life cycle means stages of testing which a QA, a quality analyst or tester, performs on the software during entire testing process. So similar to how software is developed, software testing cycle also goes through various phases. So you can say it is a sequence of specific activity conducted during the testing process to ensure software quality goals are met. So we can call it STLC, right? So STLC involves both verification and validation. So as in my previous lecture, I talked about verification, which is a static form of testing. Validation, where you dynamically, you run the code, execute the code, and you check for various outputs. It consists of a series of activities carried out by methodologically to help certify your software product, right? So different activities one by one is taken up, different features are tested of the software, and that all is recorded, noted down, and they finally just say that yes, everything has been checked and now it meets our quality requirement. So there are 6 major phases that are there in STLC. The first is requirement analysis, right? So what are various features, what is expected, what we are delivering, and whether it is meeting the performance requirement or not. Then another is testing, test planning, test case development, test environment setup, test execution. And last is test cycle closure. So you can see the above steps are similar to that what goes on in a STLC, right? Here also you have to gather the requirement. You have to prepare certain document that what is required, what, how much, what are going to be various scenarios, what is the exact number of test cases that is needed. So gathering all sorts of things and then planning. Right, so preparing a schedule, at what time we have to test module 1 or module 2, or when you want to test module 2 after module 1, or you can do testing both at parallelly, right? So test case development. So here all sorts of test cases written by the software team. Then also in which environment you are testing it. So you are testing it at a host machine where it was developed, or any other machine or any other environment where you are testing it. So you have to develop entire setup, or in which environment you want to test it, right? So you want to test it at developer side, you want to test it at client side, or if there are other kind of users, so how you want to do it. So all sorts of setup is a part of this thing, this step. Then test execution, where all the prepared test cases from the third phase is taken up and executed one by one. So here both manual, if manual is considered to be good for this project, so that manual testing is performed, or if suitable automation testing can be taken, so that is included here. Then finally, after when software team ensures or confident enough that they have done sufficient testing, so they generate this test cycle closure. So it's like a testing report where they prepare all this kind of report. The report is presented to the client and the product owner, and once they finalize it, then they finally it goes to the another phase of software development life cycle. So the testing activity, you can say, is the test planning. Allocating resources, schedules, and that should occur early in the development phase, so that sufficient time and skill is dedicated to this. If proper planning is done, that means the next few phases will be easier without any hassle or complication that might occur. So if if the test plan is not made properly, so you have to redo it again and again, right? So example, developer can design test cases as soon as model they validate becomes stable. So whatever they have developed the models, so they can design test cases after that that part is becomes stable. Usability testing, so it tries to find fault in user interface design. So it's like not exactly it's part of features, but yes, usability is very much important. Like how you have designed the interface entirely facilitate the user who is going to work on it. Even if you have included all sort of feature and feature is performing correct, but it's not at the right place, or it's not visible to user at a particular time and a specific amount of time. So that may create a bad user experience, you can say, or system sometimes may fail, right? So the intended purpose is you are providing feature and you are also that should be done in a within a specific amount of time, and that should be located easily by user. So that is known as like user experiences. Many of the software these days are successful software because they provide a good interface, and the working on the software is hassle free for the user. That's why users are looking forward to using the product. But sometimes some particular software has all the features, but user interface is not good enough, not providing good user experience, so that software becomes a failure, right? So usability testing is also done. Unit testing, where individual modules, say a particular software has 10 modules, so all modules are tested individually at different testing environment, and that is checked whether it is meeting the requirement or not. Integration testing, so you have checked the modules individually, and now you want to integrate one by one different modules, and you check whether they perform correct together or not, right? So individual component, they were performing correct individually, right, when you tested it in unit testing. But say now you started to combine them, because when you deliver the product, all the things should be combined, then only you can deliver, right? So that should perform good together too, right? So integration, this is the job or objective of integration testing, is to identify any fault that might come when you are integrating the modules or not. Structural testing, it is culmination of integration testing involving all component of the system. So integration phase, basically this process, integration test and structural test exploit the knowledge from SDD. SDD is a term that refers to system design document, and using an integration testing described in a test plan, TP, which is a test plan. Another testing activity is system testing. So system testing, when you test a system as a whole. So remember all three terms: unit testing, integration testing, and system testing. So in unit testing, you are testing individual components, individual module alone in different testing environment. Integration testing, you start to combine them and see if they are performing good together or not. System testing, where you check for all features in a system as a whole, right? So it tests all the components together, seen as a single system, to identify faults with respect to scenarios from the problem statement, and requirement and design goal identified in the analysis and system design. Functional testing, it tests requirement from RAD and user manual. So these are two kind of documents, basically RAD and user manual. So functional testing, this job is to check each and every functionality that is documented in that document. Performance testing, so it checks the non-functional requirement, how much time it is taking. Suppose there is a feature of upload, so how much time the system is taking for upload, how much time it is taking for download, how much time the system is taking to launch the home page, or any other thing that user is doing, how much time it is taking. So that is directly related to performance. So SDD, which is software design document, it also mentions various aspects related to the various goals and design goals. So this is checked as per that. So functional and performance testing are done by the developer. Acceptance testing. So acceptance, when we have done all the part like unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and finally you show that to the customer and the client, and client checks it, try to verify as per the system requirement, whatever is part of the project agreement, the agreement that was done by the software company and the client who has given this project. So it should fulfill all the features requirement as per the agreement between both the parties. So this shows a testing activity through a diagram, a UML diagram known as swim lane diagram. So you can see this part, which is developer side, right? So initially when our software starts, so the development goes at the company side, the development team is working on it, and whatever they do is they just show the progress to the product owner, and product owner or the team lead describes that to the client. They say this is the progress. But initial, there is a very less involvement of client or the end user, right? So this is part of the developer, where developer plans the test, unit test is performed, then integration test. This is all goes in a flow. Then structured testing is performed, then functional testing is performed, then performance testing is done. So this is the lane of a developer, which is going at development side, right? So development side, that means company, the software company site, right? The next lane is when all these parts are done. So after that, this moves to the next lane where the client checks it, performs acceptance testing, and then installation test as per user interface design, RAD document, and other requirement document or agreement, right? So when this goes successfully, that means this is a pass, then it further goes for daily operation, right? Here also, when this user interface design is fulfilled, so that another thing is performed by the end user, right? So who is ultimately going to use the software. So they check this developed system, and that known as usability test, how well they are able to locate the features, perform it, how easily they are can operate the software, right? So usability testing is done. So this also go back to once they approves it, the user approves it, it also becomes part of this acceptance testing by client. So this is the second lane where client is involved. This is the step where user is involved. So all three's involvement is shown, right? So testing activity and their related work product, UML activity diagrams, swim lanes indicates who executes the test, right? So for the usability testing, user is involved and user is involved. For field test also, user is involved, and for acceptance and installation test, client is involved, and developer side, all sorts of test planning, unit test, integration test, structure test, functional test, performance testing is done. So that will be all for today's session. Some of the content of today's slides was taken from Software Engineering Concept by KK Agrawal and by RS Pressman. Thank you so much, everyone. If you liked the video, do press the like button